Before scientists discovered that pandemics spread through contagions, the common belief was that plague was caused by bad smells, and that if you could avoid things that carried foul odor, then you could avoid getting sick. Now there's a word for that false idea, miasma, which means bad air. Ever since the days of ancient Greece, it was noted that plagues spread in areas where there was already sickness, filthy living conditions, and pollution. Though, of course, those areas also smelled horrible. So, to ward away illness, people tried to clean the air around them with incense, fragrant wood, tobacco, botanicals, and anything that carried a good smell. They would wear bags of potpourri or put perfume on a handkerchief that they could quickly hold up to their nose. Small pieces of jewelry were designed to hold perfume or solid scented wax pieces, and these were known as either a vinaigrette, a pomadour, or a pincée. Well, in modern times, we still love things that are pleasant smelling, and we work them into our everyday lives as much as we possibly can. To many people, certain scents are still associated with emotional and physical well-being. So today I'm going to walk you through how to make a pincée pendant. And this is a quick and attractive, easy way to make wearable art that you can fill with scent over and over again. So our pincée is going to be designed using a tiny miniature canvas. Now these come either pre-primed with black or white gesso over these cute little stretcher bar frames, just small enough to use as a pendant. Now, I'm just going to start out by deciding what type of design I want to create and use a pencil to draw it onto the canvas. I'm going to demonstrate this very simple star. I went ahead and traced it from this piece of felt onto the canvas already, so it's ready to go. But you could plan something very complex. You could plan it on paper first and then transfer it onto the canvas if you'd like, or draw it out first. Next, I'm going to create the design using colorful beads. And I have a variety here with me, mostly small seed beads, but bugle beads, e-beads, any type of bead really. They could be stitched onto the canvas if you wanted to using a beading needle and thread. Select a single area of the design that you'd like to start. You want to use a glue, such as a tacky glue, that doesn't spread out. It can be applied from the bottle. It can be brushed on if you want some greater accuracy, but I'll just squeeze it out from the bottle here. I'm using the quick dry tacky glue. I find that to be helpful. Like I said, it doesn't spread out. It holds the body shape to it. Okay, next, I've got some beads in this little palette here, so I could use my fingers and just get a few out and sprinkle them into the glue. And if you wanted some greater accuracy, you could take a needle nose plier, jewelry plier, like this bent version here, or sprinkle the beads directly from the container onto the canvas. If you happen to get things outside the area that you want them to be in, just take a small tool, such as this plastic tool here, and just kind of tap the beads into place. You can use your finger or you can use the bottom of the tool. Let's just make sure that we have a single layer of beads so they're not piled on top of each other. And then once you have that area done, move on to another area of the design and continue until you've got the entire thing complete. Here's an example of one that's already completed. And you can see a few different techniques, lining up bugle beads in a border around, doing some staggered shading here. Also take a look and notice the shiny look of the canvas now. That's because once I finished, I coated the entire thing with a little bit of glue just to make sure that everything's going to stay on there. So now it's time to design a hanger. And I kind of have to think about what it is I want to use this for first. Let's say if I wanted to make a pendant to hang around my neck, I could use a cord such as this nylon jewelry cord and just figure out what length I would like and cut that off. Now, an easy way to put it on here is to take your glue and just kind of lay your cord down into the glue, and you can use a little bit of tape to hold it in place while it's drying, and then come up on the sides like so. Okay, and then I would tie the top ends here together, maybe add some beads or something to it down here, and it would be ready to wear as a pendant. Some other thoughts: if you designed it with a little shorter cord, perhaps you could put a clip attachment onto it to put it on a backpack or a belt loop or a purse. You could also add a pin back to it so that it could be pinned onto clothing. To enjoy as a desk enhancement, just place it on a small mini easel near your workspace. Now let me show you how to create a backing where you can insert the scents while this is drying. Okay, you can use a piece of canvas, burlap, paper mesh, or even an open weave fabric of some sort. Cut the piece so it's about 1/4 of an inch wider than the mini canvas. It could be the same height, or you could even add a little extra length to the bottom if you wanted to create some fringe at the bottom. Next, put your glue along the sides and the bottom. We want to leave the top bar and the upper space open, and we're going to put this on in such a fashion that it leaves a little open space at the top. So I'm just kind of holding that in place a little bit until it dries. If you wanted to, you could also go ahead and put some more tape on there to hold it in place while it dries as well. I would let it dry a little bit more and then trim away any excess on the side. If I wanted to, I could create fringe down at the bottom simply by pulling away some of the fibers like this. And next, we're going to take a little piece of felt. Place a few drops of essential oils onto the piece and then insert it into the pouch. Once the scent wears away, you can pull that out again and reapply the oils and clip it on. And enjoy the benefits of aromatherapy. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration and that you create your own Be Beautiful Pouncey pendant. For all of the instructions and materials list, as well as some teaching standards to go along with this, visit us at dickblick.com/lesson plans.